All right, slope ceilings, or any ceiling for that matter. It really is a real difficult thing to do. It takes a lot of time, some planning involved, especially if you're doing a brick pattern like this. Doesn't matter what kind of brick pattern you do with any type of size tile. One of the issues with a slope ceiling is that nothing matches up. So you can't just simply continue your stacked pattern going up because none of the grout joints are going to line up. So we have to do a different pattern on this entire slope ceiling to even make it look somewhat okay. So, you know, you could obviously go vertical. We're going to end up doing a herringbone style type of layout. I think that's going to look really awesome, and it really takes your eye away from any type of lines. You know, even this pattern here, you know, could be a little bit troublesome just because you have the vertical lines. It's really up to you, but you're just not going to be able to go with the standard brick pattern. That's the biggest issue. So we're going to do that. The other thing that I have here is the dreaded 1 inch. Really, it's the 1/2 inch really, and it's not too bad here. So I'm gonna be doing the ceiling, and that worked out really great on the back wall. I was like, okay, there's a 1/2 inch there, that's just perfect. But unfortunately, my ceiling slopes up, and now I have that dreaded 1/2 inch that you're gonna see here. So, you know, that really is less than ideal. This is always like the worst size gap that you can deal with. Just because you can't fill it with grout. It's gonna look awful. So you're gonna have to build down the ceiling. And I think just because the way that this particular bathroom is, it's not gonna be a big deal. What I'm gonna do is just basically put another 1/2 inch piece of tile ready board up, and then we're just gonna towel just that 1/2 inch edge right here. So it'll work out just fine. It's just, you know, you gotta think outside the box sometimes. Even if this was just like a regular straight, you know, wall, you know, you can always add another half. If you're going to tile the ceiling, you know, basically add another layer of your backer board and then just basically tile the edging of it. I think it'll look all right for the most part, but really I thought I was really in good shape when I saw this, when I ended up coming up to that location, but it's just the way our ceiling isn't 100% level. You know, there's really not much I can do about it. So let's go ahead and put another board up. And then what we're gonna do is the slope ceiling first, and then we'll just do this little intricate part between with the light after we get the main wall up. Technically everything is sealed. So this is just like a spacer essentially. You know, I have this all completely sealed together. The only thing I'm gonna have to do is just seal the screw holes that I put into place. So that's basically where we'll be. You can go ahead and seal this all over again if you wanted to, but really I'm already waterproof and steam proof. This is just basically a spacer at this point. You can see here I'm just going right to the edge of where my pencil trim is going to be. So that's where I'm just going to be tiling that edge. And we'll just basically just dab the screw hole since that's going all the way through the waterproofing. And then we're just going to leave this. I don't think I'm going to even address that corner seam, which is going to make it more difficult to tile. All right, so I recommend templating this. Now with a herringbone style and something that I'm basically meeting up this point to this point, this is gonna have to be very accurate. So this template is gonna basically be just reference of the pattern. And then when I get into the field, I'm actually gonna make sure that everything lines up. I'll explain that a little bit later, but you know, first thing is just to get this template up. And I'm just gonna use a little bit of Thinset to hold this into place so that I can basically get, you know, everything set up for what I'm doing here. Front. Okay, so I did lay out some of my tile here. I didn't use spacers, as you can see. Was primarily just to give me an idea. You know, so this is really, could take a lot of time setting up, and I just really wanted to see more or less what my pattern was from side to side. I mean, that'd be a pretty big, decent sized pieces on the other side here. Yeah, looks pretty even that way. So if I were to cut this across, most likely it's going to grow a little bit, but just give me an indication. I just don't want to have like a little small diamond. That'll work. So if it actually grew, it would actually wouldn't be too bad. All right, so for this ceiling, we bought an extra special treat. This is Ardex X77. This is pretty much the best Thinset that's on the market. If you ask me, I have not yet found anything that compares to this with a non-sag quality to it. The pot life, the amount of time it can be in the bucket while you're doing all the intricate work, and just the fluffiness of this. This is a really tremendous Thinset for anything intricate. So whether you're doing a herringbone style tile that we're about to do, a glass mosaic, something that just is going to take some extra precision, this is the type of Thinset that you want to buy. Highly, highly recommend it. It's a little expensive to use on regular tile. I probably wouldn't do, you know, 12 by 24s with something like this, but if you wanted to get the best, this is definitely the one that's going to be that for you. So we're going to mix about a half a bag. I don't think we're going to need the entire bag for this ceiling. So we're just going to start right in the corner, work our way out. I'm just going to basically overhang our bottom tile here. And then I would recommend setting a bunch of the tiles and then spacing them. Using these horseshoe spacers really help out a lot. But as you can see, that Thinset really just kind of holds on to that tile, doesn't really move, allows you to add the spacers. The only thing I would mention is that you want to make sure that you don't allow the Thinset to be setting too long on the ceiling before setting the tile. So only spread out enough that you can actually set within 10 minutes so that you don't have any skinning over and bonding issues with the tile. Okay, so that will be, so from here out, I'll just let it go wild so I don't have to, so then I could just take my grinder and go up. You could try to go with your line, but it's really tough because if anything changes slightly, it's going to look awful. So I think you're just better off to be able to scribe cut it. So that'll work. No one's going to know.
I think you're saying,
Whether
they're going to know.
They're going to know. No one's going to know. You're going to have those shower doors right here.
Nobody's gonna know.
No one's going to know.
Except you.
Except for me. Okay, all right, so we'll let that dry over lunch, clean this all up, scribe cut that, and then finish the ceiling. Okay, so I took lunch. This has thickened up a bit. Just spin it. Don't add any water, but just spin it up. It'll kind of loosen it up and be able to reuse it. Now, when you do this, you usually get about a half an hour extra time, which should be enough to do the sealing. But yeah, once you spin it, I mean, you can spin it again if it hardens up again. You just don't want to add any water or you'll actually, jeopardize the thin set. All right, so let's go ahead and mark this to cut this straight. I just got a piece of trim as a straight edge. So this is already cut here. Edging sander. All right, I'll clean this up.